Hello everybody, SuperTim101 here with another build review. This series is where I go over my favorite mechs and my favorite builds, whether they are considered meta or not. And today we're going to be going over the classic Timberwolf PRIME. This mech is the sort of pinnacle of clan technology, pinnacle of clan force projection. It is armed to the teeth, it's got missiles, it's got lasers, it's got machine guns. It is an amazing piece of warfare. If you haven't checked out Tex Talks Battletech piece on the Timberwolf, I would suggest to go do that right now. It's a really good one, even if Tex isn't a huge fan of the clans. Nevertheless, this is the Timberwolf PRIME, and for the Timberwolf PRIME, I wanted to put something on it that reflected the lore build for it, the sort of stock build, but was actually effective in Mechwarrior Online, because the lore build is sort of what everyone was first introduced to. It was first seen by Felon Kell when he was chasing down some pirates on the Rock, sort of a planet out in the periphery. And when he first saw this mech on his targeting computer did not recognize it. It said it was a Marauder, Mad, because it has similar legs to the Marauder. Then it was like, no, but it's got these missile pods, so it's a catapult, so it's a cat. And that's how it got the name Mad Cat on the inner sphere side. But it is a really good mech. It can even be effective here in Mechwarrior Online. If you go and watch my Timberwolf S video, that is probably my version of one of the strongest heavy mechs, strongest Timberwolf in the game. But this is not one of the strongest builds in the game. I still like it, but let me go over some of the shortcomings of this particular build. When you run the Timberwolf with missile pods, it has these big bunny ears, what we call them, bunny ears, and they're just really, really easy to target. Even in the Timberwolf S, you lose your left side a lot more because it's so much easier to target. It's fairly easy to target the side torsos on the Timberwolf anyway, so to give it even more of a target, it can make you pretty vulnerable. So you have to keep that in mind if you're running the missile pods up here on your shoulders. It also can't hill peek very well because all of its hard points are below its cockpit. So you can't really go over the hill and shoot because you're exposing your whole mech. You have to do some corner peeking. Just keep that in mind as you're playing the mech. But it is still a lot of fun, and it can be effective if you use it correctly. So with that in mind, let's jump into the mech lab and see what we're running. We are running the full set of 8 because I wanted it to be as lore friendly as possible. So let's check out the set of 8 quirks. We've got the missile cooldown 50%, heat of minus 50%, velocity of plus 15%, a clan machine gun rate of fire of plus 50%, and then a couple of mobility bonuses. On the side torsos, you also get a total of missile velocity plus 10%. So you've got a total of 20% on your missile velocity with the set of 8 and the torso quirks as well. So it can be a pretty effective mech when it comes to shooting missiles. But we're only running the LRM 15 here with a total of 4 tons of ammo. And the reason for that is that the LRMs are basically a sandblasting early game weapon. So you don't charge in and try to be the tip of the spear, but you're also not just sitting in the back and chucking LRM after LRM after LRM, because you only have 2 LRM 15 launchers. Now the LRM 15s are good because it's a higher DPS in terms of cooldown and heat. It's just a good weapon system, but it is not your primary system, even though you have the good quirks for it. Your primary weapon system is actually these 5 medium pulse lasers. So what you want to do is kind of stay at the edge of the fight, shooting LRMs at the beginning, shredding people's armor, waiting for mechs who are damaged to encounter you, and then you go in with your medium pulse lasers, shoot off those damaged components, and get those kills. You also run these 2 light machine guns. Now, I was running these before the buff nerf of the light machine guns. They got buffed on their range, so they're really long range now for machine guns, but they got significantly nerfed on their crit chance and crit damage. So I actually might change these to regular machine guns going forward, but I'm still experimenting with that. You only run a half ton of machine gun ammo, which you can chew through fairly quickly. So that's really a way to get. It was, previously a way to just to crit out components. So, but you can kind of tickle opponents with that from a good distance. But basically, the mech is LRMs for sandblasting early, and then once you get into the mid to late game, use those LRMs as more of a line of sight weapon, as well as your medium pulse lasers to really start blowing up components. So one cool thing about the Timberwolf Prime is that it's got this heat dissipation plus 5% right here in the center torso. So it's actually a little bit more heat efficient than a lot of the other Timberwolves. So with that said, let's look at the skills that we're running. A little bit different than what my usual builds are. We have full cooldown because I want to shoot my weapons as much as possible. And a little bit of range, but not nearly as much heat gen as I usually run. The mech is actually fairly cold. It is 1.53, so that's actually really good in terms of heat management. And with the 5% on the center torso, I only run 5 here in the heat gen tree because it actually is fairly heat manageable. So, but the medium pulse lasers are your main weapon system, so you want to have those laser duration nodes. It helps even with the pulse lasers. You want to have the ammo capacity for your machine guns because you chew through them really quick, and you can go the full missile rack and missile spread and high explosive. If you want a little bit more heat gen, you can actually take some out of the missiles, perhaps the high explosives, just because they're not your primary weapon system. So, in terms of survivability, you want the full skeletal density and armor hardening. You are squishy because of those vulnerable side torsos. It's easy to blow those off. So be sure to pick up those hit points. Nothing in mobility or jump jets. You still want the cool run and heat containment because there are moments where you'll be in a brawl and you'll need that. But for the most part, you're good on heat management. Just pick those up because they will help at times. In terms of sensors, you want at least one of the seismic sensor, so pick up that. You want at least 60%, but I've picked up the full 100% radar deprivation, just because it helps in terms of breaking line of sight and breaking locks for opposing LRMs, and just if people lose your targeting signature, they're less likely to shoot you and keep an eye on you, so that's good. And because it does have missiles, I wanted the target decay. Again, it doesn't help when the opponents have full radar depth, but if they don't, this does help a lot keeping your locks, so that's good. And then of course the one consumable slot for our UAV and cool shot. So that is the Timberwolf Prime sort of ode to lore build, not quite lore, but it is basically a medium pulse laser mech with LRMs as a early game weapon. It's a bracket build, so it's not the greatest build. It's just fun. But let's jump into a game. All right. I've got
should
LRMs.
probably switch these to normal medium lasers.
Alright, engaged.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out here.
Target acquired.
Is that fire starter trying to die?
Seems like it.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
He was doing, I want to be a real boy.
New target acquired.
Rain and Charlie.
New target
Maybe.
acquired.
Oh,
Target
I think
spotted.
a few hit.
Target spotted.
New
Alright, they're pushing Charlie
target
5.
acquired.
Charlie has successfully made it to Charlie 5.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
I think I'm gonna go try and make him feel less successful.
Right.
Watch your flanks if you're moving forward onto Charlie 5.
Fire
I
starter.
promise
didn't
I'm
want
coming to the fight someday.
Target spotted.
Alright, I'm hitting the ceiling here. Alright, that's fine. Alright, come on out.
Hotel Catapult's got 4 ER larges.
Target
That king
destroyed.
crab is toast.
New target acquired.
Asker is still taking my kills, man.
Target spotted.
Well,
New target acquired.
Winding around on Bravo 4 to get to Charlie 4.
Need assistance.
And
Target
sit your
spotted.
asses.
Charlie 3. I don't want to be here.
Target spotted.
Target destroyed.
Ash was just about to
Nice.
get clear on him.
Target
Still
Still
spotted.
got that fire starter over there in Delta 4. Can one of you lights take care of him?
Affirmative.
Gotta be careful here. They're coming up. They're coming up behind us, Delta 4.
New target acquired.
So they are.
Target destroyed. New target
There's also a
acquired.
locust. Rotary AC5
New
bushwhacker.
target acquired.
Okay, yeah, they're all over here at Delta 4, Delta 5.
Can someone pop a UAV?
Did they go like the tunnel or something?
New target acquired.
Oh, hell! What the hell just happened? Oh, there's an Irby right there. Wow. I must not have seen any of them.
UAV
Oh, well.
activated.
Where'd he go? Alright.
They've got a bunch of little lights, urban mech, stuff like that. Bushwhacker with double rotary AC5s, and that Marauder too.
LRM ammo at 25%. New target
There's a
acquired.
locust. Last seen Charlie 5. Oh boy.
Oh, that's
CT Kilo?
Target
Copy.
destroyed. New target acquired. Target destroyed.
Last
New
one's that
target
locust.
acquired.
Amatech Squishy.
That's okay. Yeah. Just look around. Yeah, Charlie 5 low ground.
Yeah, I got low signal.
There he is.
Target spotted.
Almost got his leg.
Going Bravo 4.
Is he really going to run you guys all the way around the map? Come on, man.
It's possible he just
Look,
wanted us
I'm
to
slow.
drop, so
No, not you. I'm talking about the locust. He's being an asshole.
Well, I mean, theoretically, like, if he has the DPS, he could bait us and then eventually kill us all, but, guess not.
nice job, Rocky.
Yeah.
Good game, guys.
GG, guys. Sorry it was kind of worthless.
Four KMDDs. Oh,
I got 2 KMDDs.
well, you did quite a bit of damage to that thing, man.
Yeah, I like this thing.
Well, that was a really fun game. It worked really well. It really highlighted the effectiveness of the mech. So it got 4 KMDDs but no kills, and sometimes that happens because you're LRM and you'll sort of sandblast the other mechs and let your team go in for the final kill, and that's fine. Sometimes you will get the kills because at the sort of the end of the game you'll go in with your medium lasers and start blowing off components, but that didn't happen this game. It was actually a pretty close game up until about 7-6, and then sort of the snowball happened and we were able to take everybody out. But it was a pretty close game if you go back and pay attention to the numbers there. Both teams kept up with the kills pretty well. So one thing that I wanted to note was that I saw one of my friends get killed. Always check your minimap because it has vital information. So I saw one of my friends get killed up in Charlie 3. He didn't say anything, which was kind of a bummer. You should try to communicate. But so when I saw him get killed, I told everyone to go to Charlie 3, and then I had my eyes, because I knew that there was a push coming from that direction. So that's why I muttered to myself, like, I don't want to be here, because I don't want to be the tip of the spear, and I was sort of the only mech out near Charlie 3, while everyone else was sort of moving towards the Bravo 4 area. But I did call out the turn, and then we ended up seeing those two bushwhackers. We were able to take those guys out, and people did turn around and face the enemies back in Charlie 3, Delta 3, which I think ultimately led to our victory there. So keep an eye on your minimap. No matter what mech you're playing, call out what you see. And then for this mech in particular, use those LRMs early. You don't have to have line of sight, but it does help. And then go in later with your machine guns and your medium pulse lasers to get those kills secured, or at least help your team with that. So it was a lot of fun. It's a great mech. I love it. One of my favorite mechs. It's got some great lore behind it, and this sort of my attempt to make it as lore close as possible while still keeping the effectiveness. So I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like and have a great day.